We've had our first match of the night, and now we're moving on to the second. Four-Eyed Freaks up against, and I'm stalling because my brain's had a wee bit of a lag. NGU-K, there we go. I caught up there. Very exciting match coming up. I think we're going to see it be pretty close as well between these two teams.
I reckon as they go head-to-head, agreed, right? Like, both of these teams are definitely not like upper echelon, but they're certainly not to be counted out at the same time. So both these guys are like nearing top tier, but still in that middle of the pack. So these two guys going head to head, they've versed some of the best. They've also beaten a couple as well. So now that these two, what have they learned through their APAC journey? What can they bring against each other to, of course, remain in this series and eventually take on Varels later tonight?
That's the goal, is try and move your way up that lower bracket. Try take down opponent after opponent after opponent until you eventually get into those grand finals to face DAF. And certainly, I think if any team is more hungry than any of the others at the moment, it is either Four-Eyed Freaks or NGU-K. I think both of these teams really want to make their mark in this season, in the full series of our APAC contenders. So certainly a lot for both these teams to live up to.
I think really, like NGU-K, excuse me, they did really well against DAF. Like, you know, these guys are now the best of the best, really, DAF. They're waiting for people in grand finals, for goodness sake. But NGU-K actually took a map off DAF, which is a really, really big deal. Whereas Four-Eyed Freaks, they didn't do too well against Heaven Sent. So if we're going to keep that in mind there, NGU-K, they're the team really to beat in this instance. And we're going to see Four-Eyed Freaks, they're going to run out with Proxies and Speed 75 on the healers and Ryu on the tank. And it will be Silent and Unite bringing up the DPS.
Pretty strong team for sure, especially looking at their tank of Rui. You know, we've seen how good a Junker Queen can do. So, and Rui is very good at the Junker Queen. So if Rui just keeps running that Junker Queen, we could see Four-Eyed Freaks running over NGU-K. And of course, however NGU-K are going to respond to that Junker Queen prowess will be, I guess, the big question mark. And whether Rui actually decides, nah, I'm not going to play Junker Queen. I'm going to go to something like Zarya, something different. Those are all the questions that we're currently sort of mulling over at the moment.
Tossing up, right? And it's really against Tomato. And as you were saying earlier, and they're leading. There you go. Tomato's leading. They are really liking the Orisa at the moment. Almost a refusal to go over to the Zarya. So that's possibly where Four-Eyed Freaks might be able to make their name. Kame and Hope will be going in as their deeps. And then Remedy and Mowley will be the supports.
So certainly, you know, we've seen all of these players pop off on NGU-K. Tomato has been nasty on the Orisa. Remedy has been coming through quite strongly for NGU-K on that support, but also just clicking some heads. So, I mean, the Ilaris, they can be quite make or break for a team, and I feel like Remedy is that make for NGU-K.
Yeah, and can Four-Eyed Freaks break NGU-K? Yeah. I just want to point out as well as we're heading into Control, NGU-K have not dropped a Control map. They've won 100% of their matches, and that was including, of course, against DAF. That was the map that they did take off DAF. So going into this here with Four-Eyed Freaks going 1-1 for Control, it is definitely in NGU-K's favor here, as we are heading back into, should I say, Antarctic Peninsula. The freezer is still left open.
I like that. I mean, that's an interesting statement you made about Control for NGU-K. A lot of pressure you're putting onto them now as well. We'll see if they can live up
pressure,
to
guys.
it.
I love you, I swear.
Yeah, we'll see if they can live up to that not dropping a Control map. But certainly Antarctic Peninsula, I feel like there's so many different comps you can see run here that we probably will see Orisa versus Junker Queen at this point.
Yeah, I got to assume that both of these teams rolled out with, watched the previous match and watched how Varel were defeated initially by Invincible, but then were able to almost turn it around. It's so funny because we were just talking about Tomato's refusal to go Zarya. You know,
Yeah.
just can't help it. Yeah, I'd waddle away as well, Penguins, from that. That was our bad there. As Tomato had a look at the patch notes, realized, my goodness, Zarya is very good right now. But it seems like they, for Four-Eyed Freaks, they're going to roll out on the Junker Queen.
Yeah, Rui loves that Junker Queen, hoping to just get the tempo into a fast momentum for Four-Eyed Freaks and run over NGU-K. So far, just disruptor shots to open up this fight, as it looks like Hope's going to be the one to try find a backline.
The Four-Eyed Freaks actually taking this payload, this point, very, very quickly here. So it's going to be up to NGU-K to find their way inside, as there's some real speed and aggression here from NGU-K.
Yeah, I mean, Four-Eyed Freaks, though, they're not allowing NGU-K to completely shut them down, as Silent's now taking out Remedy here. Silent pushing NGU-K back, and first cap going to Four-Eyed Freaks for now.
NGU-K were trying to push their way out of the room, but absolutely could not, as they got to run away. They got to get their teammates back up there, but Four-Eyed Freaks played that very well, getting their presence on the point as quickly as possible, then almost splitting up, surrounding NGU-K, and then just pushing in, and it took out NGU-K very quickly.
Anime now hoping to just get onto point, get point quick for NGU-K. Four-Eyed Freaks, though, starting to approach. The flip does go to NGU-K, and all of a sudden, if NGU-K can win this fight, that is a big payout. But Rui hoping to get him to that backline, finding it really difficult just to exit, has to continue hiding behind these pillars. Kame shooting down those long sight lines. It's just making it so hard. Amplification Matrix now from Four-Eyed Freaks, hoping to get that point back. They do. Kitsune Rush, however, from Remedy, completely trying to give NGU space to run onto point, get the flip back, take down some people. Speed's gone. A rampage from Rui, however, not really going to lead to too much, as Rui's the one to fall, and finally NGU-K have stabilized on this point.
The good thing is, if you are NGU-K, is that you're able to get that point in between that fight somehow. Four-Eyed Freaks would have loved that extra 21% that was picked up, and came using, I wouldn't say forced to use Overclock, but definitely had to shut down that fight entirely. And now NGU-K, to defend this point, they have a Grav Blade, whereas Silent's going to have to go in with Four-Eyed Freaks having nothing else really to back them up. Perhaps the speed boost from proxies will help them get in, but these bubbles, and there's the grab.
Grab completely locking. Four-Eyed Freaks down for now. Blade, however, from Silent, hoping to find a victim. Is actually going to take out Hope's Blade. Instead, Kame is now down. Silent hoping to completely wipe the field. And there goes NGU-K right back to spawn.
Yeah, that grab from Tomato, nothing came of it. It didn't trap any of the healers. Remedy was able to keep everybody alive, especially with the Zuzu as well. And now Four-Eyed Freaks, they don't have any ultimates, but neither do NGU-K. This is going to be a very, very just all-out technical, mechanical brawl here. As Four-Eyed Freaks now up to 60% here, and this fight is a little bit slow because NGU-K, they're just trying to pass their way in a little bit differently.
I love that decision to take this different path here, you know, rotate around from behind, because Four-Eyed Freaks have really good high ground. Now Rui hoping to once again get a little bit of carnage onto NGU-K, but not quite connecting. Speed, Amplification Matrix coming out. Kame hiding, hoping to not get caught out from that damage. Tomato falling low, but the supports are keeping them alive. Now Remedy throwing out their Kitsune Rush sound barrier to respond from Four-Eyed Freaks, and Speed takes down two. Rui now running over the Sojourn, and Tomato has taken down Speed. However, it's not going to lead to too much as Four-Eyed Freaks take that point. Rampage even committed, but a grab? Wait, Tomato? Managing to take down three. Rui evening it up, and Bowley still here. Bowley and Hope. The hope to keep NGU-K alive and get our first point to NGU-K.
NGU-K just did a Varel there, like, oh yeah, you think we're done just because we lost kind of the first fight? no, Hope was able to quickly switch off the Genji and over to the Reaper. Obviously, the teleport allows him, and then the Swift Step not the Swift Step, the Fade allows him to get back so quickly. And Tomato as well, surviving there, not being picked off. Grab was absolutely enormous too. Oh, it's a trap. The Junker Queen for the Rampage. Honestly, that was beautifully played. NGU-K upper map for the second one here as is Hope staying on the Reaper? That's quite exciting. We don't really see Reaper very often in these more open maps, especially when you have the Sojin, but Game's going on a Sojin of their own, and yeah, no, it's going to be a Genji versus Reaper here. Reaper, of course, wants to get super up close and personal, and it's really down to Silent getting those shurikens but as headshots and getting those dash resets.
Been a big question around Genji versus Reaper for these Zarya comps. It looks like NGU-K opting for the Reaper, as you said right now. See if it works out for them. I mean, Hope certainly turned the tides into NGU-K's favor on this Reaper, and now has at least taken out an immortality. Rui, though, hoping to take Hope down. Tomato getting so much damage onto Rui, and behind you, Rui, there's Hope, removing them from the fight. The Reaper might be what you need to shut down these Junker Queen copes, as Hope is taking names.
I mean, this is all cool and all, but Apara, I need to bring your attention to something. What is NGU-K playing on their support right now? We've had a first with Blizzard World, and now we're seeing a Moira from Remedy? I mean, we don't see Moira very often at all. She lacks a little bit of that utility. She doesn't have any immortality field, any way of, like, you know, cheating death. But, I mean, look how fast they're building Coalescence. And man, is that an engagement tool.
Remedy could win fights with that Coalescence if used well, and Unite going down certainly makes it a little bit easier for NGU-K to take an aggressive stance, start running over Four-Eyed Freaks. There goes the supports, and NGU-K now looking control.
They won that fight in NGU-K without having to use anything at all. Yeah. That was just all an eco force. I mean, Four-Eyed Freaks are much in the same boat, but as attackers, you want to draw out. Like, if you're going to lose, you need to lose by drawing as many ultimates out. 3 is just the best of the best, but this is the ultimate fight, quite literally.
Yeah, Coalescence early, but Unite through the Amplification Matrix, completely remove Remedy. Death Blossom around the corner, into a grab as well, finds 3, Blade gets shut down, Silent, no! That is a 5k team kill. Hope is feeling good.
That wasn't just a Blade shutdown. That was also Beat. That was also Speed's window as well. They really don't have too much Four-Eyed Freaks for this last fight, but neither do NGU-K. Really, it's all up to Kame to land those shots with that overclock, and Mali to perhaps get a sound barrier.
Trying to bully proxies in the back. Not quite taking anyone out, but Rui's starting to fall really low. Grab onto 2. As the sound barrier comes out to keep them alive, though, and Kame popping off with the overclock. Speed now falling. Tomato putting in that work, has found that Zarya is good, and that first point goes to NGU-K.
Yeah, not just the Zarya, like also the Reaper worked exceptionally well there. We were talking about the battle between Reaper and Genji, and time again, Reaper just came out for the kills because Genji just couldn't find the picks necessary to turn fights. Their Blade, as you mentioned, was shut down very, very quickly without even putting much pressure. It really felt like Four-Eyed Freaks had no pressure that last match there. Like, they were trying things with Junker Queen, then they tried things with Zarya, but time and time again, shut down with beautiful ult economy from NGU-K.
Absolutely right. I think ult economy and ult usage and ult cycling was really good from NGU-K. It takes me back. If you think back to Heaven Sent versus DAF, a big thing when Heaven Sent was working out well, the first 2 games, it was Zarya comp with Reaper versus Zarya comp with Genji, and the Reaper comp was coming out on top. So it is an interesting thing to see now, Reaper working out well here for NGU-K. Certainly maybe showing us that APAC is preferring the Reaper pick and making it work a little bit better.
It especially works really well against the Bastion. If the Bastion doesn't notice you, you can do a lot more damage up close and just absolutely annihilate them. So we'll see if Four-Eyed Freaks can turn this around, or will they get knocked out from NGU-K? We'll see you after this break.
NGU-K are looking strong at the moment up against Four-Eyed Freaks, completely shutting down the Junker Queen comp that Four-Eyed Freaks wanted to run here, Pap. And now moving into hybrid, what do you think Four-Eyed Freaks need to do to be able to get control of the score?
It is their map pick. And look, I won't spoil it, so to humor the both of us, Kings Row, Midtown, or Blizzard World with a high admission price. I don't think Blizzard World's a very good pick for Four-Eyed Freaks. I think they need to go something where it's pretty brawly, or at least very easy access to the high ground very quickly, because they're very good Four-Eyed Freaks in that brawl. We saw, especially in that first map of Antarctic Peninsula, we saw that they just completely beat out NGU-K in the brawl. But it was once NGU-K had the point, they had the alt economy to pretty much trump anything that came their way from Four-Eyed Freaks. That's when they started winning. So they need a map where it is mostly on the ground. They can come at multiple angles and pretty much overwhelm the likes of NGU-K.
So, I mean, there's really two options there. With that description, there is literally just Kings Row or Midtown. Yep. Certainly both very fun maps. We love it when we see Kings Row come out. It's a personal favorite of the old Papa here. But we'll see what map it is very shortly. I'm excited either way. I think Four-Eyed Freaks, depending on the map choice, might look a little bit more alive. NGU-K, however, certainly looking strong at the moment. Will Four-Eyed Freaks be able to fracture that?
So Four-Eyed Freaks, between their two games that they've been able to play, it's been a week. And what has happened between then? Well, a big one is we've seen some Korean contenders. And we saw a lot of different compositions than we saw in APAC. We didn't see as much Torb, for instance. We've been seeing a lot of that Alari, Sigma, BAP with Sojin or Ash, and then the backup might be Genji. It really just depends. So I wonder if Four-Eyed Freaks, they're going to go more the APAC route where they do hold defensively, this is, with their Torbjorn, and really hope that, the rivet guns can land their shots. Or are they going to play that really split Korean contenders way where it's like, you kind of guard the hallway or whatever you want to call it on the right-hand side of the map if you're the defenders looking towards the attacker's spawn. Or do you want the more APAC-y route where it's almost the same, but you do have to play a little bit differently because you are running a Bastion perhaps, or you are still running that Torbjorn with the Orisa picks. And we haven't seen actually too much Orisa from either side of these teams, even though we were banging on about Tomato wanting to go Orisa and oh, look at Tomato, he's definitely going Orisa. Turns out goes immediately to Zarya. So if they're going to continue to surprise us, Tomato, it would not surprise me again now. It would have before, but not now, not anymore, if they do go onto that Sigma pick, unless he gets subbed out.
Yeah, you never know. In fact, well, actually, no, now I do know. Just saw some subs coming in for Four-Eyed Freaks.
Let's go.
Silent is out, Berlin is in, and then Unite is out, and XP7 is in. So a little bit of a swap up in DPS by the sounds of it. And I mean, unless my document over here that I'm looking at is wrong, Berlin is listed as a support, swapping out for a DPS player?
Well, we saw Mihawk. Mihawk wasn't quite removing scalps with Widow, but was certainly giving them a good shave with the Baptiste. So we do see a lot of these teams do those swaps, right? Where it's not just it's also role and not just hero.
Speaking of role, I now have an answer for that. Proxy's moving from DPS onto support, so that Speed 75 and XP7 can run that DPS line. Certainly XP7 and Speed 75, very good DPSs coming out for Four-Eyed Freaks, and that could be a big tide-turning move just in of itself.
Now, This could be really big because we're our first ever APAC match, if we can go back that far here, Apara. Four-Eyed Freaks versus Six Blow. It did go 3-0. And who was MVP? Or yeah, who was MVP? That was none other than Speed 75. Speed 75's Genji was it was just clean, consistently clean. And if we can now add that Zarya to it, there might be Unstoppables. Oh, Apara, I think it's over. They couldn't even make it to Blizzard World this time. We're back on Midtown.
They're still trying to catch the train to go to either Blizzard World or I guess King's Row, you know. Get on the train, order your ticket. Hopefully not spend all your money on the ticket so that you can't get into Blizzard World. That price of admission, as we said, is quite high. So we'll see whether anyone can catch that train.
I have a theory. I reckon it's the winner of this has to pay for the admission price of the the loser of this has to pay for the admission price of the winner. So they just get Blizzard World all to themselves. It is all down to who can push the cart all the way to the end, and that's just economy, baby.
First, you got to unlock the cart though with hybrid, of course. You know that payload locked behind a point.
How expensive do you recken that is?
I think that in of itself is it's as expensive as good as the DPS the defenses. If the defense is strong, that price is high. And looking at NGU-K wanting to run the Sigma here, Rui though going on to Zarya, giving up on the Junker Queen.
We kind of mentioned this a little bit, except what did we mention? We mentioned that APAC do play a little bit different heroes, but we neglected Hanzo. Hanzo is picked not super consistently, but time and again for that sonar arrow, for those really quick picks. And Speed 75 on the Hanzo, it's going to be brutal. Look at them, they're waiting. And I love how Remedy, first the Moira, now we're seeing the Zenyatta. For a little bit, we've gone back over to the Ilaria, which is fair enough. But Hope also on that Torbjorn, so still picking up those old I wouldn't say too old, but the APAC comp.
Yeah, right on through that hallway, trying to get into a position in behind Four-Eyed Freaks at the moment. So it is just going to be trying to get into a nice position and then hoping that Kane can maybe find a hit or two on this Widow. Hope now getting close to behind the supports.
That's really it, right? NGU-K are looking, it's all about the pick. It's not really about the brawl. It's all about finding their first one onto Speed, onto, of course, Berlin or Proxies would be the biggest one, but it's Proxies to fall first.
What a shot, those hyperspheres removing the Baptiste, now finding XP7, and that is going to be NGU-K taking a nice quick cap of the first point.
Does that mean it wasn't very expensive, you reckon, to get the fire engine out, to get the cart moving forward? But, of course, they want it to be more expensive here, Four-Eyed Fish. They don't want to give it that easy again, as, yes, they will have to give up first point relatively quickly here, but at least you died together, so you all have the high ground on behalf of NGU-K, but that's where you've got the likes of Kame on the Widow to just get another pick.
Now, with Rui swapping onto Sigma, taking this high ground position, how do you think NGU-K take this?
It's really, I don't want to say the exact same thing again, but just how this comp works. You're waiting for a pick. There you go. Hope is down from Four-Eyed Freaks. That's how you want it if you are running this double sniper. Now it's just a run through. You're hoping at least. It's Speed 75 taking out Remedy. There's no remedy for that. You've lost your head.
Yeah, completely removed from this fight, and now it's looking like Four-Eyed Freaks, they're able to stabilize a little bit. NGU-K is going to be forced to reset and kind of just group up again.
Hope has actually made a switch over to the Genji, which is fair enough too when you are versing now a double sniper, but Berlin was kind of caught out there. We're in Midtown, not Berlin.
Yeah, Tomato may have lost that bit of flux, but managed to get value out of it anyway, taking down Berlin. Speed, though, takes out Remedy, the counterpart of Ilaria here, but Hope taking down to reopening this fight for NGU-K.
The hope of the team, one might say, from NGU-K is they did use a few ultimates there. NGU-K, they really only have Captive Stun. Whereas Four-Eyed Freaks, they're doing pretty well for themselves. They've got the Gravitic Flux and also Captive Stun of their own. So those two together, you've also got XP7 as well. You'll be able to see where everybody is before this fight has even started. So NGU-K, doing a bit of spotted.
Oh, Kame taken down in the sky during that flux. Berlin, though, during the Captive Sun, was not able to survive Captive Sun from Remedy. However, right onto the Genji, manages to dash away to safety, survive a little bit longer. NGU-K now has control of the high ground. Will Four-Eyed Freaks want to take it back?
Four-Eyed Freaks making a little bit of a switch to a more, I suppose, brawly comp to match what NGU-K is slowly morphing themselves into. It's worked so far. Hope's gone.
Hope's gone, Remedy follows, and yeah, NGU-K don't really want to be taking this fight. You want to fall back, get your teams back, but Speed really wants to bring the pressure on.
They really do. I mean, Kane's going in. Hang on, is he turning a fight around? Not quite. Ryu's been able to shut it down enough at the very least. And I just want to point out as well, there's been a bit of a switch up with the supports. Berlin has gone off of the Alari, which is interesting, and onto the Brig. I guess they really want to shut down Hope. Fair enough too, he's got the blade.
Lux not finding any victims just yet. Berlin managing to get away just in time. Proxy's healing them up, and that Flux gave NGU-K at least the high ground. Able to group up, maybe once again try find that pick, but Four-Eyed Freaks, they are just playing so well, using their positions to their advantage. Blade now on Speed takes out Kame. Remedy falls, and that is going to be another attack of NGU-K completely taken out.
Yeah, Four-Eyed Freaks, they've taken a leaf, honestly, out of NGU-K's book. Their ults have been really well managed this time round. You've got Ryu already with another Gravitic Flux, which is pretty much a fight win. You have Hope giving up all hope on the Genji and gone back to the Torbjorn, because, you know, if it worked once to cap point A, why not again? As XP7 looking for a very clean first pick, but everyone's just hiding behind a barrier of NGU-K as they're very slowly getting their way around. They know that they cannot afford to just go underneath the tunnel. They need to take the high ground away from Four-Eyed Freaks.
Trying to catch XP7 out there as well, but not quite leading to any picks for NGU-K at the moment. Tomato popping out that shield, making it a little bit harder for Four-Eyed Freaks to get damage, but the Flux right onto Kame. Their cave is going down. Immortality actually manages to save them. Captive Sun now thrown out, not quite leading onto any picks just yet. There it is though, taking out two. Speed and Rui gone, and now with the overclock, this is finally NGU-K getting that payload back.
Yeah, I didn't really call out the time earlier, but that NGU-K really had to win that, as it is only 30 seconds remaining. I will not miss that XP7 headshot though. That was cheeky. Remedy down, and this is final fight. You're without a support if you're NGU-K. You have to play so passively. Torbjorn, are they a bit Hope? What are you doing over there? They're running away as fast as they can, but they got picked off. They were so far away from their team.
That's not good news for NGU-K either, as now Rally's getting thrown out. There are 10 seconds left, and NGU-K have to come up with something big, or else this is where the payload is going to rest. Speed, though, is coming up bigger, taking out both supports, fighting Tomato, and it's just a Sojourn on point, and they get finished off too. That was the payload stopping just before the last bend of Midtown.
Yeah, that was really well played there from XP7 to take out a huge pick. Remedy, I mean, you've lost it, the Alari. It's a lot of heals, but it's also, of course, a lot of damage. As Unknown says, the pylon is the support. Alari's just kind of there to do a lot of damage. And when you down that, you can't build up Captive Stun. You get Speed 75 in your backline, completely destroying their hopes. Really, NGU-K, as it was their pick, Four-Eyed Freaks, and so far, Midtown working in their favor.
Now, all it needs to be is a really good attack from Four-Eyed Freaks. NGU-K obviously need to bring a strong defense, completely shut down any push, which is still possible, especially on that first point. You can hold it for quite the wee while here, but, you know, Four-Eyed Freaks, they've got that nice little shiny box that they need to push to. They've given themselves a fairly easy task.
Yeah, they've definitely... I mean, at the end of the day, both teams have at least some sort of win condition. Of course, NGU-K, If they could just hold it at point A, not even allow the fire truck to get out and wheel all the way to the end, then, I mean, that's perfect. This is where Hope's Torbjorn might be really good as well. You have that defensive turret. You also, of course, have a lot more time to hit those absolutely brutal rivet gun shots. I love how they're leading with Zen just a little. I've noticed a lot from the teams and they switch over, but it's just to see if you can get that initial pick over as Proxies, of course, goes back to the Baptiste. And Four-Eyed Freaks, I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix anything, as they're going back over to that double sniper comp that we've been seeing quite often. But this is something we don't see quite often, going through the train.
Yeah, right through that train carriage, hoping to try and push NGU-K back, and it's slowly working. Tomato starting to fall low, manages to get a little bit of shields back with the kinetic grasp, but not enough as there's so much damage coming out to Tomato. The support's putting in a lot of work, but Mauli's gone now. Tomato falls, and Hope may take down XP7, but ultimately, Four-Eyed Freaks, they've got control of that point now.
NGU-K, they just kind of need to wait, bide their time, and come back. Speed 75 falling very low to that headshot. But of course, with it being so early, there's going to be no ultimates into this fight. And it's going to be about how is Tomato going to get back in and protect his team, as they surely want to stop this cap.
Oh, just in the nick of time. Tomato gets on here. Speed 75 though, playing those long sights, hoping to take down one of the DPS, and with the help of Berlin, Hope is gone. Maoli follows, and Four-Eyed Freaks looking really good to take a quick cap and put themselves in a position where they don't have to push very far, Pat.
They don't have to push very far at all. And I mean, I said this before, but at NGU-K, they did all perish pretty much together, so you'd hope that they'd be able to take high ground, but Ryu doesn't want that to happen. They know how detrimental that might be, and Hope switching over now to the Genji, but Four-Eyed Freaks are playing this kind of comp that's just very explosive. It's not like a slow build-up. It's like all of a sudden picks can happen, and that's exactly where Four-Eyed Freaks can push in. So it's a high risk but high reward, and at the moment, all the reward is in their favor.
Oh, I mean, Four-Eyed Freaks seem to just be cruising with it. However, Kame now coming back with two, taking down two, finds a third. That was just clean Hanzo picks right there. Didn't even need any ults.
Yeah, I mean, Kame over on the Hanzo, already 77% to their Dragons, as they were on the Ashe, of course, beforehand. And that's at least one of the defense that NGU-K need to mount. But Four-Eyed Freaks have 4 more minutes and a whole lot of ultimates to do so. Speed 75 doesn't even need their ultimate to take out Cave.
Hanzo counterpart taken down now, opening up the doors to start pushing this fire truck under the bridge. Maoli gets caught in the flux, and a Captive Sun comes out as well. The combo is too good. Both Maoli and Tomato are out, and all of a sudden, NGU-K are starting to sweat.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweating going on. As a Captive Sun to make you sweat even more, but I don't know if it's going to get anything for Remedy as Proxies takes them out. Apara, this really is final defense here for NGU-K, and it's looking like Four-Eyed Freaks might take them a first map here.
Yeah, NGU-K just looking super uncomfortable at the moment. Dragon Strike forcing NGU-K into sites that aren't comfortable for them. So Maoli used that Amp Matrix to at least be able to peek, and Proxies gets caught out there. So that's a huge opener for NGU-K to finally stabilize, get this point in control. Flux as well, just to send Rui up and take a bit of damage. Down goes Speed and Rui, and finally NGU-K have some defense.
They have some defense, but they only have one ultimate to mount their next one. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here, so really, Four-Eyed Freaks are still in a decent position. Berlin actually switched back to what they were doing on the defense, in fact, over to the Brig instead of the Alari, just to help against Hope, right? Just to push them away if they are to Dragon Blade. You've got the flails. Hope's also very low as well, so that buys you even more time, as you're relying on Kame here from NGU-K to hit those shots. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That high risk, high reward.
Remedy going down is not a great position for NGU-K to be in at the moment, but so far it's just slow, you know. Four-Eyed Freaks, they need to find a way to approach.
Four-Eyed Freaks would know as well that the blade is there. That's why you switched over. So they have to be careful. They can't just throw their lives away here. The payload very sneakily getting quite close for that. I mean, it's not a C9, of course, but it was there. Came falling, though. That's big.
Yeah, Blade now from Hope, though, taking out the Genji counterpart, trying to find XP7, takes down 2, actually, and all of a sudden, Hope is the hope for NGU-K to stay alive in this defense just a little bit longer.
All right, we were talking about time banks. Time to talk about them again. 4 minutes, I think even longer, like 4.5 Four-Eyed Freaks had. Now, by some very good defense from NGU-K and ult cycling, they're now at 1 minute remaining, Four-Eyed Freaks, to take this. Speed 75, however, taking a little while to get that blade since switching off of the Hanzo, but now at 85% and counting. I think this is it. This is the fight that Four-Eyed Freaks need to win. They need to put a lot of their ults into it. But NGU-K, they have a lot to spare as well with that amplification matrix on the high ground. You also have the flux too from Tomato.
I mean, if this Flux just takes down 1 or 2 critical targets, it could turn the whole game for NGU-K and ensure a defense.
You can see how slow Four-Eyed Freaks are playing, so that just puts even more pressure on both teams to perform as the Flux in the hallway.
Captive Sun coming out, doesn't get eaten by the kinetic grasp, but nobody's there to really get the kill. Speed 75, however, taking down 2. Trying to find Mowley now, takes them out as well. Hope is down. I mean, Hope is trying to hide, sorry. That is Speed getting 4, and this payload now. Can anyone touch?
Well, I don't know, Tomato doing their best KSG impression going over to the ball, but Coke couldn't touch. Ball they got pushed away. Tomato got squished into a pace. They couldn't get there in time.
We said this was going to be a close one, and now we're 1-1, tied up. Certainly both teams are bringing a lot to the table and looking good when they're sort of running their preferred comp style. It definitely seemed like Four-Eyed Freaks much preferred the Sigma, whereas Tomato felt a little bit uncomfortable there, I think.
Yeah, you could tell that it was almost like they were forced to play that Sig because it works really well for that comp, especially with that double sniper almost on either side there. But consistently, Four-Eyed Freaks running the Widowmaker, running the Hanzo. Yes, they didn't run it the whole time, but they were able to run it long enough because they got the influentially massive picks.
And I wonder whether maybe this is where NGU-K just fall. You said how they're undefeated on Control, and they're still undefeated on Control, but they got defeated on every other map. So maybe NGU-K are uncomfortable when it's not Control here. We'll see with Flashpoint, obviously, because Flashpoint.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the next map? Oh, yeah, that's right. Control times 5.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Maybe they just take the skills that they have in Control and just not double it, not triple it, not just quintuple it. We'll see if they can do just that. As Four-Eyed Freaks take map 2, we'll be right back.
We are now even 1-1, and I think this is really sitting in anybody's court to be able to take it. Pap, it's hard to predict at this point, but Four-Eyed Freaks looked really strong just then. But if we go back to Control, so did NGU-K. So I think it really is just comp versus comp. Who's going to come out on top?
Do you know why it's so hard to predict, right? Before the final fight, you had Four-Eyed Freaks with 1 ultimate, and yet you had NGU-K with like 4 ultimates in their back pocket, and yet I think that they still couldn't eke out a victory there. It was kind of like they did an Invincible. They were like, okay, we have all the cards. We have 5 ultimates on the table. We're ready to rock and roll. Varel only have 1, but somehow Varel are able to turn it around. So they're almost copying each other. A bit of deja vu here. So we might even have a bit of deja vu into what Flashpoint map we go into. But that's why it is so hard to predict, because usually it's like, oh, okay, more ults means big win. Like this time around, the mechanical skill is really playing a big factor into who takes the victory of each and every fight. And obviously there it was Four-Eyed Freak's double sniper that was the mechanical skill that they needed there. It wasn't like we're gonna try and brawl you. It was actually, no, we're gonna keep you over there. You can stay over there and we're gonna blow your heads off. And that's exactly what they did. And Four-Eyed Freaks now are up 1 in the series. Sorry, no, they're even in the series, should I say. Speaking of which, I think we know where the train went. It didn't make it to anywhere like Kings Row or Blizzard World. It made it to India, Savasa, to be more specific.
Now, I'd just like to apologize to Invincible for you calling it doing it Invincible. That is, I just want to go all the way back there. That is a
wow, we're traveling back in time.
Term. But yeah, no, you're right.
A meme dies in 2 weeks. What I say should die in about a second.
Savasa is going to be our Flashpoint, and you know it's too early to tell, at least in my opinion, whether one map is going to favor another for NGU-K or Four-Eyed Freaks, but it definitely seems like a lot of teams much prefer that Savasa map. We don't see New Junk City too much.
Four-Eyed Freaks, you're going so well. Please don't go Doom or Mantra. Like, you know what? We're going so good. We're going to go against the grain. I mean, look, there's time to switch, of course, but we have not said. If this actually happens, we're seeing so many firsts like Warrior Blizzard World. No, fair enough too. It will be the Junker Queen to roll us out. Tomato will be the Zarya. It's the classic, at least of today, that Zarya Junker Queen fight. The speed versus the amount of damage from NGU-K that they can put out. So Four-Eyed Freaks, they need to be very quick and decisive with their picks, whereas NGU-K need a little bit of time to build up that Zarya charge.
Rui looking for that quick approach, as you were saying, wanting to run over Tomato, and Tomato fell so low, managed to get back to their supports, however. So now, at least NGU-K have point advantage at the moment. They can stand on point. Rui's now met them a couple of turrets set up and a TP up onto that high ground. Tomato trying to send some lob shots up there to take them down, but it's just Rui coming up to your face. Configuration assault from XP7, burning through hope with immortality, keeping them alive right now, but Tomato is gone, squished by Rui's axe, and now Four-Eyed Freaks can just run over the remaining few stragglers.
That was beautiful from Four-Eyed Freaks. They're not letting NGU-K get the damage necessary onto their backline. That's what Hope was trying to do, of course. And Remedy going over to the Ana. Okay, I guess if you can get a massive anti-nade into the back, get a gorgeous sleep onto something like XP7, that'll definitely slow down their pace. But Four-Eyed Freaks, they're not even wanting to stay on point. They're like, no, we're going to fight you in your own spawn, but that just allows for NGU-K to eventually get around with a nice little pathway onto the high ground.
Hope fell low, managed to get back. Amplification Matrix now making it hard for NGU-K to peek out, and that just ticks down that time even more for Four-Eyed Freaks. No picks just yet, though.
Yeah, 80%. Apara, NGU-K need to start popping something, but they don't have anything. Kame is the closest, but you have a Zarya bubble now onto Hope to try and get some pressure, and it's Kame. There you go.
XP7 now down. It's going to allow Hope to start really pushing in without any pressure from a Bastion. And Kame and Maoli taking down speed. Rui falling low, and that is point going to NGU-K.
6 HP, a dream was Kame. Now for Four-Eyed Freaks, it is going to be a little bit harder to attack a defending Zarya. However, you have Rampage from Ryu, and that is absolutely monstrous because there's nothing to cleanse it. There's nothing to even save you within a mortality field. You're really, really relying on somehow shutting it down with a sleep, perhaps a grab. Of course, you have bubbles as well. So the NGU-K, they will know that this Rampage is coming, but do they plan to stop it somehow?
Artillery strike. Rampage now coming out, and it takes Remedy down. No supports for NGU-K. Hope's Blade not being the Hope that NGU-K really needed, only taking down speed 75, but the rest of Four-Eyed Freaks are there to clean up the floor and get that point back.
Was it just me, or were you a little bit worried that Tomato was going to grab, like just a Hail Mary grab, throw it onto the point, see if we get a 3K there. That was looking very tempting, but because they were able to hold grab, At least it's something for the next fight, but my goodness, that is a very unlucky next point if you are NGU-K, as at the moment, Four-Eyed Freaks are winning this Control for ×5 map, as they have, like, Speed 75 has the big shield, goes right across the map. That will block a lot of that damage, perhaps even completely shut down Tomato, and another big change actually came. It's not just who do we play, Genji or Rita? They're like, okay, but why not both?
How about both?
Yeah,
absolutely. And look, it's given NGU-K quite a bit of space to start pushing up onto the ruins here, but not get close enough. Hope starting to get chased down by Rui. That Junker Queen can be scary when that shotgun's going right into your face. Hope dodging the knife. Gracie not catching anyone just yet. Remedy trying to pump out heals, and a photon barrier is going to give Four-Eyed Freaks a little bit of room to breathe, protect him from damage, and that's Four-Eyed Freaks' fight.
Yeah, it looked like it should have been NGU-K's with the beautiful grab, but yeah, as you said, the photon barrier shut it down, as well as the huge damage coming out from XP7. It's very hard to just stay in the open, eat all of that damage up, and hang on, Tomato's not out just yet. Look, they're going in super hard this time round.
Running right down Rui, but Rui's getting an immortality, staying alive. Hope can't deflect that much damage as Speed finishes them off here. Point does go to NGU-K, but that artillery strike is going to start pushing you off point. These ruins are about to be bombarded, and Rui's running right on in. It finds Tomato. Artillery strike at the last second. Kame is getting burnt down, and that is going to be Four-Eyed Freaks taking this point right back.
At least if you're NGU-K, you held that point that whole time. Otherwise, that whole point was basically in Four-Eyed Freaks' favor. Oh no! Huge, great shot from XP7 there. You have no hope, I reckon, for this point now that it's all lost. Remedy gone back over to the Moira because it worked so well last time. Apara, do you reckon they want to touch this one or just kind of go next?
Tomato definitely wanted to, but I think the call became don't. But look, they're actually running it down, but the point's capped. There was an interesting push of aggression from NGU-K, and now Four-Eyed Freaks can actually chase up from behind. If they get a fight win here, this could be huge for Four-Eyed Freaks. It wasn't completely destroyed by the XP7. That Tomato's rolling so low, and just to bubble themselves a little bit of temporary health as Remedy is pouring out heals on that Moira Rui, though taking down Hope. This is not good for NGU-K at all.
No, and it's because I don't want to say I'm not saying like the players themselves. It's just simply the picks of Moira is. It's great when it's a coalescence, I suppose, even though last time I said that it got shut down super quickly. But anyway, you do not have Immortality Field. You do not have Zuzu in each and every fight. You only have, a tickling ball or a lot of healing with your healing ball. But other than that, there's nothing else you can really apply. NGU-K now, though, they have so many ults this fight, but same as Four-Eyed Freaks, this is going to be a massive brawl.
Blade responded with a sound barrier, amplification matrix as well. Photon barrier thrown out. Everything's getting thrown on the floor by Four-Eyed Freaks. A grab catches Rui. Tomato managing to help Kane take them down. Now an artillery strike right onto the garden staircase there, forcing NGU-K right up into the face of XP7, getting deflected a little bit there. Hope able to dash right on through. Point capture did go to Four-Eyed Freaks, but NGU-K got it back in the end.
That was like, what ultimates do we have? Use them. And it was NGU-K that actually came out on top there. Four-Eyed Freaks used quite a bit there, so it's going to be harder for them to take this point. Since you are two above though than NGU-K in terms of which points you've capped, it's almost like you just want to build ultimate for the next one. You're so far behind now in ult economy, you either just push, lose, pull out everything that NGU-K has so that this next point can be big, or put all your resources into this final fight, which isn't quite yet, but the point's picking up so slowly, and the fight is also taking a while to start, that by the time it does apart, this is really it. It's fight.
I mean, if Four-Eyed Freaks don't win it, it's going to be devastating news, and with Speed 75 taken down, Four-Eyed Freaks aren't looking too strong to clean up, as that Coalescence cleans Berlin up, and Yeah, like you said, final fight goes into UK's way, so Fried Freaks aren't going to win the map right now.
Not yet. They have a couple of ultimates coming into this next one. However, they did make some wholesale switches. You have both DPS of Four-Eyed Freaks gone over to match NGU-K. However, of course, the big disparity is this ult economy. NGU-K actually managed to hold on to both DPS ults, as they will also be the first ones to touch this point.
Yeah, Temple being owned by NGU-K right now. Rui hoping to find a way to approach it. Blade, though, coming out from Hope, trying to find some victims. Berlin managing to dodge and avoid, just jumping all around and actually taking Hope out there. All of a sudden, Four-Eyed Freaks can start really rushing down NGU-K with 2 picks to Berlin. Rui can just start pressing W and take Temple. But the grab! These last bit grabs have been so big! It came with the overclock! Okay, Four-Eyed Freaks, you could not have Temple, not today!
What? Like, oh, well, we're losing? No, we're not. But NGU-K, they put a lot of resources into that fight, but I think a really pivotal thing, they were able to hold onto Mauli's sound barrier. That's going to be massive when the rampage comes through from Four-Eyed Freaks. B75, of course, is very close to their blade. This is it, honestly, Apara. These fights have been kind of slow, so if they lose it here, Four-Eyed Freaks, it goes down to 2-2.
This rampage, though, from Rui could be massive if followed up correctly in speed. Looking to get some dash resets, but Kame is going to be the first to fall. XP7 taking them out. Sound barrier by Maui, keeping the team up for now of NGU-K coalescence right into XP7's face, and Remedy going a little bit DPS there. That could be it for this point. NGU-K need to just finish up these last 2 stragglers of Rui and Proxies, and then Temple's going to NGU-K, and we're at match point.
I gotta say, Apara, I feel so validated about talking about Moira for so long. Finally, these coalescences have been really, really impactful of turning these fights around, even when hope is lost, quite literally. You can still turn it around with a remedy. Four-Eyed Freaks and NGU-K. Final fight around the fountain. Four-Eyed Freaks, though, they have the ultimate advantage for this last one here. So if you're NGU-K, you either needed to survive or lose exceptionally quickly, but draw out everything that Four-Eyed Freaks have.
Tomato looking to go right into Rui and take them down, but Rui managed to escape for now. Speed looking to pop this blade, hoping to get a big one and get the point in their favor. Blade coming out with the bubble to stay alive for a little bit. Kane getting chased down, manages to get a good shot. Bubble from Tomato as well, keeping Kane alive. No picks from that blade. However, Tomato does fall thanks to XP7 and Speed, and now it's going to be Four-Eyed Freaks taking that early cap of the Palace, and that could put them in great position to take this map.
No, you've got really good defensive position for both of your support ults here, because you have to expect NGU-K, because that fight was so long, they are also going to build up their ultimates. You have Kame, you have Hope, you have Tomato, who's now just squished. And that was a beautiful headshot from XP7. That's even more time, more percentage burnt. NGU-K, you cannot have that. This is the final fight for Flashpoint by the time they get back, because it is so fast to tick up.
It's going to be a 4-ult fight, though, for NGU-K, and so you have to believe that it's in NGU-K's favor.
How hard do we believe? We've seen so many ults, like, oh, these guys have so many more ults, and yet time and time again, that stuff doesn't matter. Maybe it does this time around.
Hope used Blade, and he's taken down. Tomato's got this grab here. It could be big. We've seen the grabs from Tomato before. Can they make it happen again? It's onto Berlin, but there's a responsive grab onto Tomato. Rui managing to take down their Zarya counterpart, came out as well, and nobody touched. That is Flashpoint going to Four-Eyed Freaks.
It just happened again. NGU-K had the ultimates. They had 4v2 ultimates, but it's just bigger. Four-Eyed Freaks just played better. Yeah, go on.
Ultimate's not important in Overwatch. Is that what we're learning today?
Them. You're right. Yep, they don't matter anymore, I guess. It's just all down to positioning and just pure mechanical skill. Like, Oh, those DPS were absolutely brutal. They had no, they were against their counterpart DPS having ults, and yet they managed to shut down Hope, and they also managed to get some beautiful headshots from the Sojourn. I mean, NGU-K, they're like, all right, the checkbox for winning control is done. Let's lose. They just haven't done too well ever since control. Now it's down to their. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say it is their final map choice, because obviously, if they win, it's not their map choice. So it's their final map choice, and it will be on to push. Oh, will we see Colosseo? We don't see Colosseo very often here. We've been seeing more. Yeah. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? What do you reckon?
I do think it will be Colosseo, because I think Tomato will want to go onto Orisa, but we're just going to have to see what they pick after a short wee break, so don't go anywhere. Four-Eyed Freaks have put themselves back in control, up one map, and now moving into push. It is going to be NGU-K's map choice, and they've got to choose well to make sure that, I guess, they can run a comp that NGU-K can take over Four-Eyed Freaks. Basically, Junker Queen at this point.
Yeah, maybe we haven't. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen a Junker Queen versus Junker Queen matchup yet. Usually one is on Orisa, or you see one on the Zarya. So it's always a little bit of that differential in tanks. Whereas, yeah, could we get to see it, depending on the map choice, of course, that Junker Queen versus Junker Queen, where it is all just on the line, whoever uses commanding shout, the most effective to get their DPS to land the shots, of course, for Carnage as well, too. Carnage, the other side, and it looks like we are heading to New Queen Street for our next train stop. And I don't want to scratch my head for too long, otherwise it's going to be like 10 seconds of silence here. But it's a lot of low ground here. I mean, there's a little bit of high ground with the trains every now and again, but you're versing a team that's loving to run this rush down comp, and you're going to have to play them on a. It's not as bad as Colosseo, I definitely agree, but it's also not quite as flanky, I would say, as Esperanza. So going New Queen Street, I think there's a high risk, but there's also a high reward if you can get on top of Four-Eyed Freaks quickly and hold down Philip plus the bot in a more defensive position, because it seems to me like Four-Eyed Freaks very aggressive, whereas NGU-K, not at all. A little bit, but they take their fights a little bit more slowly because of the Zarya. So Four-Eyed Freaks are taking full advantage of that as they are leading the series 2-1. This could be match point.
Tomatoes now on the Joker Queen and Rui's on the Zarya. We were so close to
greatness.
They literally just swapped tanks there.
They must be listening and they're like,
not today.
Wrong. Oh, man.
Oh, there we go. Tomato now onto the Orisa. Like I sort of thought we might see. Tomato likes this Orisa a lot.
Yeah, we were hoping to see it right a bit earlier, but Tomato immediately going Zara and pretty much sticking on it. So we're going back to what Tomato has been loving these past couple of matches versus the higher ranked team. And the Zarya versus why you would play Orisa has to wait, because my goodness, speed 75 getting taken out very early here as the poke is going NGU-K's favor at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, taking down one just unlocks the doors for NGU-K to be able to start taking control. However, they're taking it so slowly that Four-Eyed Freaks might actually be able to get a couple of picks here.
By the time they might get another pick, Four-Eyed Freaks, they'll have their fifth man back, really. But Tomato just falling on the point.
Yeah, that is exactly what Four-Eyed Freaks were waiting for. Just time to rush down Tomato, and NGU-K have to completely fall back.
It just felt like Tomato was a little bit isolated on the bot, didn't have as much backup as I think they thought they did, because they fell so fast. And well, here's a matchup, Apara. We were asking for Junk v Junk, but it seems like we are going to get a Zar v Zar matchup. The big difference, of course, from either side is you have speed from proxies, and also you're also versing 4 people instead of 5. Game's gone down.
Oh man, Four-Eyed Freaks just getting those one pick differentials is so big, you know. Look how much space it gives them. They're pretty much getting close to getting around this corner to halfway point. NGU-K now though can start to fight.
It's like these daggers, right? That they constantly get. It's a bat window v window. Which window's better?
I mean, Rui just said, I'm leaving. I don't want to take any damage from it. And NGU-K aren't really positioned to get much value. However, Game and Remedy don't need the Amp Matrix when they can just take people out.
NGU-K managing to hold on to quite a few ultimates. Speed 75. Oh, what? I didn't even see that happen. Kame? Dang, now that you've lost Kame there from a beautiful shot from XP7, you got overclock as well. And you're getting close to grabs, right? Where Tomato's falling a little bit behind.
Remedy taking out Berlin. Sound barrier now coming out from Proxies. That captive sun landing onto Rui. Rui managing to survive through it, however, and now bot moving in NGU-K's favor. Can Four-Eyed Freaks come back?
I mean, it just depends if they keep staggering each other, right? It feels like only one person falls, everyone has to back up, which is quite right. You don't want to get a full team wipe. You want to be able to come back as quickly as possible, but there'll be a lot of very impactful ults here. I mean, you have double grab, for goodness sake, as well as Molten Core.
The flank from NGU-K, Remedy and Kame are right behind Four-Eyed Freaks, and their grab now is opening the door for NGU-K to take space, but XP7 and Speed are the ones getting all the picks. They managed to turn it around.
It really feels like what it reminds me of, these two grabs being used. It's like whichever Zen is able to transcend after the other Zen usually wins the fight, because you have it for that little bit longer. And there, it worked perfectly too. Tomato first to pop it, but it was really the Four-Eyed Freaks that got the better of that grab.
Now, NGU-K got the bot back in the control. Berlin taken down. Kane using those log sides and Remedy as well to completely take out anybody from Four-Eyed Freaks.
Hope actually made the switch over to Tracer, kind of done with the Genji. And I guess that helps when you are in their backline. You can quickly change your targets. You can build up Pulse Bomb, of course, a lot faster than you can build up Blade. It's just less good, I suppose, when it comes to a tomato bubble, because it's more like, okay, who am I bubbling? Maybe Hope when they go in, but they could always just blink out at any moment. Whereas, yeah, Genji, little bit more in, I suppose you could say. P75 is a bit in, far out.
Went a bit too far in, got captive sunned, and now no longer in this fight. XP7 though takes Remedy out, evening it up, but with the Amp Matrix halfway point is captured, so those close spawns are in NGU-K's favor, and Four-Eyed Freaks, they might be able to take this fight. They could win it, and if they do, they're not going to have the bot for long, because they're going to have another fight shortly.
Oh my goodness, Hope falling to 1 HP thanks to, hang on, thanks to that anti, but it's really Kame again falling. XP7 consistently taking out their Sojin counterpart. The bot, Philip's not moving though. Hang on, go grab him.
Go grab the bot. I'm surprised that NGU-K kind of fell back that much, because they had halfway point. They kind of could have tried to regroup at spawn, but no, decided to fall back.
Hope using the bomb, but doesn't really get anything, so it's really Four-Eyed Freaks with all the ultimates coming up, as a beautiful sleep onto Remedy gets a kill.
Remedy taken down, Speed 75 now wanting to finish off Kame, but that new support of Illari's pylon, not Illari themselves, was enough to keep them alive for a bit, but no, Four-Eyed Freaks completely collapsing in NGU-K and will get halfway point themselves.
Not just halfway point, but also quite a bit of more distance than NGU-K. It's going to take them a little while to completely regroup. However, NGU-K, they're coming up with that grab, but Four-Eyed Freaks, they already have it. They already have Speed 75, but hang on, you need your Zarya.
Yeah, Rui's gone. Rui is not going to be bringing the grab to this fight, not today at least, and Four-Eyed Freaks completely just give up the fight because of it.
I mean, fair enough too, right? You've lost a very impactful Zar. Something to also keep in mind, though, they got front spawn, so naturally they will be able to take the fight a lot sooner. Overclock from XP7, but it's the Blade to come out.
Remedy's gone. Now trying to find the Sojourn, but K managed to get away temporarily. Proxy's chased them down instead. Four-Eyed Freaks certainly putting in a good performance to be able to win this map, but NGU-K are keeping them toe-to-toe.
Yeah, it's so back and forward, and what was 10 minutes, of course, has quickly gone into 3 minutes. So it's going very fast, this push map here, as both sides, you could say, have so many ultimates. So it's about positioning here, or XP7 just simply taking Kame's name, as they have been doing pretty consistently before most fights. So Kame, they need to keep their head on for this next one here and potentially get those picks that will open up this fight, because NGU-K, they've fallen behind a little.
XP7's got this overclock, looking to use it, gets caught in a grab, and that's going to make it a little bit harder to get any value out of overclock. Kane, though, has an amplification matrix to help their overclock, and Remedy's captive stun, at least allowing Rui to fall. That's going to be NGU-K getting the bot back in control. They might be able to get it to this halfway point if they're lucky.
That's also NGU-K using every single ult they had, but at the very least, Four-Eyed Freaks, they can't match anything in terms of ultimate charge themselves. It's almost like we're starting all over again here, as officially NGU-K take the lead in push. And now that we're getting to sort of the more business end, under 2 minutes of push, it's going to be considerably harder for each team to gain any more time.
All of this progress is looking good for NGU-K now. They want to try and get a little bit further, play these long, pokey shots. Kane trying to find someone, not quite connecting on to anybody critical, but it's XP7 taking down Hope early. That is going to once again let Four-Eyed Freak start to approach. These supports aren't scared from the Tracer anymore. Mowley is down, and that bot moving right on back to NGU-K's side.
We didn't really talk about this very much, but Berlin, they like to go Alari to begin with and then go, you know what, I'm going to play Brig, or in this case, I'm going to go play Ana. And Ana, yes, you don't have any like immortality field, death-defying anything, but this nano is going to be so big for somebody like Speed 75. There's nothing really you can use to shut something like this down. So if you're NGU-K, especially you're losing all hope, this is going to be really tough to turn around.
Yeah, that's going to really allow Four-Eyed Freaks to take this front position. Blade coming out, taking down Mowley, finding Remedy. Tomato got two. They're going to be able to take the lead and potentially put them into that map winning position with 30 seconds left here, Pap.
Well, there's that Nano Blade I was talking about, just instantly winning a fight, and Proxy as well, very good. He has the sound barrier against NGU-K, who is slowly starting to build some ultimate stuff. 375 though is down. This is something for NGU-K to grasp onto.
Now, NGU-K got control again. Four-Eyed Freaks just need one fight to be able to take it here, Pap.
One fight, one grab, one opportunity. Tomato building up to it as well. We have a captive son. Hope though, they're back. They got a revenge. XP7 down.
Looking for the Arda as well. Manages to get a little bit of help from the sound barrier. So Remedy's going to fall instead. Berlin does eventually collapse, and Kane takes down Rui. All of a sudden, NGU-K looking good. There's still a couple of fights. I think at least one more fight for Four-Eyed Freaks, but it's getting scary now.
XP7 though has been absolutely popping off on this Sojourn. So this overclock, while it is the only ultimate on the side of Four-Eyed Freak, I believe it can happen. Okay, I guess if you shut down Speed 75, who is probably popping off the most of their team right now. Oh my god.
XP7 though responding with their overclock, taking down Kane. Now trying to find Mowley here. Mowley getting caught out, falling so low. Doesn't quite get finished off though. Tomato putting a lot of pain onto Kane. Remedy, Mowley are gone here. Four-Eyed Freaks starting to take control back. Tomato falling. Hope are just trying to stall it out. The Tracer will not be able to keep this fight alive as Four-Eyed Freaks win our series 3-1.
What is Overwatch? It's like, it's supposed to be a game of ultimates, guys. Like, 4-eyed Freaks didn't have that many ults. They only had Overclock, and I mean, I did believe in them truly, and the belief paid off, but far out, they were against a stacked lot of ultimates with Grab and Pulse Bomb, but it just didn't work. 4-eyed Freaks played around it miraculously, and they were able to take the win.
No map fight for us just yet, as 4-eyed Freaks, have taken the win, looking strong up against NGU-K. NGU-K definitely had some signs of life, but ultimately 4-eyed Freaks always came out on top just in the end, and putting themselves now up against Varel for our next match. Varel versus 4-eyed Freaks, and this could be a match to behold. We might get, Pap, that Junker Queen v Junker Queen you were praying for in this matchup. That could be a reality.
Two Australians just going at it. I mean, I can never get over that. I mean, we haven't seen it just yet, but both sides have been going very, very aggressive, and for 4-eyed Freaks especially here, it works so well to get on top of NGU-K so consistently, time and time again. And I mean, we were talking about it before, right? But it was like, ultimates just didn't matter. Like, I like to talk about the ults and how they can be impactful and why they can be impactful, but at the end of the day, it could be somebody like XP7 who just needs to land a couple of really, really good headshots to turn a fight around, and Varel's much in the same boat. So these two teams that don't like to use ultimates to win fights, they will be able to come in, and it will just be an all-out mechanical and technical brawl.
And I mean, let's be honest, whilst ults are flashy and cool, mechanical prowess is a lot of fun. And speaking of mechanical prowess, Rui, our tank player of the match today, Rui was such a phenomenal tank. A lot of consistency came out from Rui, constantly finding a couple of picks here and there, but also so good on this Junker Queen. And we've seen how much Junker Queen can kind of thrive in the current meta if done well, and I mean, Rui does it well. We have a note for Rui, which is just the Junker Queen guy, and you can see why.
It works. I also just really liked how versatile they were on all three tanks that they played, right? They had to verse a Sigma, you had to go Junker Queen against Zar, then Zarby Zar, but consistently Rui was able to come up with the goods. The grabs were immaculate. I mean, we saw Tomato versus Rui grab pretty much side by side, and 2-1. Well, it wasn't Tomato. Tomato got squished into a pace. It was Rui.
Yeah, Rui always coming out on top as that tank, and I think a big game player. I mean, obviously, the DPS were popping off as well, especially Speed 75. But yeah, Rui absolutely deserved that MVP and now, or player of the match, and now it is going to be Varel versus 4-eyed Freaks. This is going to be a really interesting one here, Pat, because 4-eyed Freaks, they've had a taste of glory. They really want to be able to get all the way through, but look at the titans they now have to take down. First Varel, then Heaven Sent, and if by some miracle they take down both of those, Daff is their final boss. 4-eyed Freaks have
their raid boss. It's their raid boss, 4-eyed Freaks. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a character selection screen. You know, when your character turns up in a cutscene. It's like the 4-eyed Freaks, and then all of a sudden Daff comes in, and they're just absolutely ginormous. Because you'd think, Heaven Sent. They got Heaven in the name, but somehow they got dethroned from Daff. And this Varel versus 4-eyed Freaks is going to be so exciting.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun match to watch. Varel, certainly, they got a little bit of, what's the word? They got a little bit of dignity that they're trying to gain back at the moment here, trying to look like the true finalists that they do deserve to be. But 4-eyed Freaks, after that performance, I think they're looking to take down Varel.
If we're looking purely, I don't like to do this, but if we're looking purely on numbers, though, the last time 4-eyed Freaks versed like a pretty high seeded team, should I say, Heaven Sent, they did okay. They held their own in some of the control points. They got it to 99% a couple of times, but they weren't actually able to take a map away. So now we're onto the real business end where Varel, they're like, maybe the fathers of APAC. They've been in there for so long. I wouldn't say the grandfathers. That's a little bit too. It's a bit too rich. But it's definitely gonna be tough for Four Eyed Freaks. They have so much to prove, but they did it. They did against NGU-K as well. They had a lot to prove. Like we were probably putting NGU-K a little bit over Four Eyed Freaks, but then NGU-K, they were just happy with their control point at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we said they are undefeated on control, and that's true.
They
They're
were
just defeated on
end the
everything
series with
else.
that.
Yeah. They
Oh,
couldn't
man.
use the ults to their favor to be able to get any other maps into their pockets. But yeah, I'm really excited for this next match. I think once again, I don't know whether we'll see a fifth map tonight, but I think we're going to see another push at this rate, Pat.
Yeah. I mean, Varel have. I'd say that Four Eyed Freaks, they're very warmed up. Varel, they've had time to cool off though. They've had time to watch these matches. So I don't know. I guess let's wait and see. Let's see if Varel have been able to download, adapt, and flatten enough
Wrong team.
that they can come up with this victory. We'll see you after this break.